Hey there, seventh graders. Welcome to the English 7B Unit 1 activity. The hints from us teachers and some instructions too. So let's talk about what the story was even about. Let's do a quick summary. Hopefully you've already read it. There was an audio version, or hopefully you just read it on your own. But basically, Mike is the main character. The story is told from his point of view, which means that we only really know what he thinks about this story. But that's important because the story is mostly about a conflict that he has in his mind. The main thing that happens, the main event, is that he visits his grandmother in a rest home and she has memory loss. Like she's not really fully aware of her surroundings all the time. Sometimes she's lucid and can think clearly, and other times she's somewhere else in her mind. On that visit to his grandmother, she mistakes Mike's identity. She thinks he is actually his grandfather, Mike, who is her dead husband. And because of that, she talks to him and has this conversation with him about something very serious that happened. And once he hears this, Mike has to decide whether to tell his grandmother the truth or just to make her happy in the moment and let her hear what she wants to hear to give her some peace. So that's the important part of the story right there. Now, this story is an internal conflict simply because Mike doesn't have a conflict with another character. His conflict is a decision. So, internal conflict in general is when a character struggles with their own opposing desires or beliefs or concerns. It happens within them and it drives their development as a character. So, internal conflict can come in many forms. It can be decision making, it can be guilt or worry, it can be fear about something, fear of something unknown or something very real. But so what's Mike's conflict? There's more than one, and there's a few that are highlighted in the text. Mike has many emotions that he deals with. He deals with guilt. He mentions guilt a few times. He feels guilty that he didn't tell his dad that he sped in his car on the freeway. He feels guilty that he doesn't visit his grandmother more often. Those are a couple examples. Another emotion he deals with is whether or not to tell a couple people the truth. He has to decide whether to tell his grandmother, I'm not your husband, Mike, and to not give her the forgiveness that she's looking for in that moment. He also has to decide whether to tell the truth about his visit with his grandma at the end to his mom. She asks how it went, and he says it was fine. She looked good and just made like chit chat, but didn't share the major burden that's on his mind with his mom. Another emotion he has to deal with is realizing that his grandma and parents are actual real people, not just a grandma, not just parents. They're real people with real problems, and that's eye-opening to him. He never really has thought about them beyond just being part of his family before. He realizes for himself that, being an adult is kind of complicated. And it also makes him realize, well, maybe my own parents have had conflicts like that and I just never knew about it. In my opinion, the main conflict of this story is what he should tell his grandma and whether to tell his mom about what happened with his grandma. Now, if you haven't read the story, you need to make sure that you read and find out exactly what this conversation was between Mike's grandma and him, so that you fully understand that main conflict. Another big question. It's called the mustache. What the heck does the mustache even represent? Well, let's talk about that. So deciding this for yourself will answer the question. The question is, why does Mike shave off his mustache? So the mustache, that's the name of this short story. Authors often do that to help you realize the importance of that object. So the mustache itself is important. Um, Now, remember, in the beginning, Mike is very proud of his mustache. He was kind of excited. It made him feel grown up. His mom didn't like it though. Neither did his girlfriend. And it actually ended up costing him money, he said. So, why would he shave it off? Well, maybe it represents his grandfather. So, when he visits his grandmother and she mistakes his identity, it pops into his head, oh, my grandfather had a mustache. Maybe that's why grandma thinks I'm him. He could have thought that and then thought, you know what? I don't ever want this situation to happen again. So I'm going to shave it off so that when I visit my grandma some other time, this won't happen. That could be one reason. Or it could be something even bigger. That mustache that he shaves off, he was proud of it before he made this visit. And then as soon as he's home, he shaves it off. Now, I think maybe that mustache represented being an adult to him. And he felt like it made him feel like other people would look at him, respect him, think he's older. And he liked that. He wanted to grow up. But maybe after this visit and realizing how hard being an adult can be, he might have thought, I think I'd rather just enjoy being young as long as I can. So forget being an adult. For now, I want to enjoy being a kid. And he shaved it off. Maybe. Maybe you have another idea. But those are two ideas that I've come up with. So all of those will hopefully help you with task 1 in this activity. Up last is task 2, and it's called a real world connection. So here's what you're going to think about. It says, write a personal narrative. Narrative always means a story. So write a personal story. Think of a time when you had an internal conflict of your own. It could be a time when you felt shy, guilty, or unsure about a choice you had. Any of those, or fear, any of those internal conflicts we talked about at the very beginning would be a good one to share, as long as you're willing to share a situation. In 4 to 5 sentences, you'll describe that internal conflict, how you felt, and what you did about it. It could be something you're still struggling with even today. And that's it. Once you're done with task 1 and task 2, you are finished. And the last step is to share your activity with myself, Mrs. Bryant, or with Mrs. Abriani. If you are at a point before this and you get stuck, no matter what, you can always come to us for help. We want to make sure you understand what to do and that you get the best grade possible that you'd like, and that you become a better writer through these activities, okay? All right, well, we look forward to reading your ideas about this short story and to hearing your own personal connection. And we look forward to helping you and working with you down the road. All right.